My name is Luke. The signal completely cut out at 2:14 p.m. I was wearing my headphones at the time, grinding through practice exams in my rented room. The cicadas buzzing outside were driving me crazy. The lady next door, who usually does square dancing all day, didn't turn on her speakers today. Even that stray dog downstairs that barks at everyone had gone completely quiet. The whole world fell into an eerie, dead silence. No one was answering. My mom is a head nurse at the city hospital. She hasn't been home for 3 days. Her last text was from 6 o'clock this morning. Lock the door tight. Whether it's doctors or the police, do not open for anyone. Luke, stay alive. At the time, I thought she was pulling some kind of dark joke, until I walked out onto the balcony. I live on the 3rd floor. This height is just enough to see everything on the street clearly. It's an old residential neighborhood. Down on the street, a few cars had crashed into each other. Thick smoke billowing from them. A delivery guy was hunched over on the curb. He was moving in a very strange way. There was only that gut-wrenching sound. A cold sweat immediately broke out on my palms. Right at that moment, a knock came from my front door. The rhythm was very slow, but the force was terrifyingly heavy. Luke, open. It was a woman's voice. Sounds like Mrs. Smith from next door. I didn't make a sound. I tiptoed over to the entryway and looked out through the peephole. This time the hit was even harder. I could actually see the dust on the security door, shaking and falling off. I realized this old apartment building wasn't safe anymore. I forced myself to calm down. My only weapons were the pocket knife in my bag and a solid aluminum baseball bat that I bought for self-defense. I ran back to the kitchen and filled up all the kettles and empty bottles with tap water. Though the water is still running now, who knows if the water supply system will collapse in a few hours. Then I started stuffing things into my backpack: chocolate, ration biscuits, and a few unexpired cans of Spam. How did my mom know this outbreak was coming? I stared at my phone screen. Even though there was no signal, I kept reading the text over and over. Suddenly, I noticed the timestamp, 0600. At that time, the morning news on TV was still just reporting a localized flu outbreak, unless she was right at the source. The security door was slammed open, leaving a small crack. Lou. She actually still remembered my name. This was my first time facing death, but I knew if I didn't move now, I'd never get the chance to go to the hospital to find my mom. Going through the front door is suicide Mrs. Smith, and who knows how many of those things are behind her. The delivery guy on the street had already stood up. He saw me. He wasn't running, but he was walking toward the building entrance with a stiff, yet incredibly fast pace. Damn it. I climbed out the window frame, my hands gripping the drain pipe tight. Just as I was about to slide down, out of the corner of my eye, I caught sight of something on the neighboring balcony. That was Mr. Jones's balcony. The window was shattered, and a black walkie-talkie was scattered on the floor, emitting a faint static hiss. This is the evacuation point at the South Suburb Stadium. If you hear this, repeat. Do not approach the hospital. The voice from the walkie-talkie cut out abruptly. My mind went completely blank. My mom was right there. I gritted my teeth and slid down the pipe. The rough rust scraped the skin right off my palms. It burned like hell. Just as I was nearing the bottom, the awning couldn't support my weight anymore. With a sharp rip, it tore apart. I hit the ground hard. It felt like all my internal organs had shifted out of place. To my left was an alley leading to the main road. To my right was a dead end. Several corpses lay scattered across the alley. I tried my best not to look at their faces. As I passed a trash can, I reached out and grabbed a discarded meat cleaver. This thing is much more useful than a baseball bat. Running out of the alley entrance, the view suddenly opened up, but it only made me feel more hopeless. This used to be a bustling pedestrian street, but now the ground was covered in scattered shoes, bags, and half-eaten snacks. Hey, over here, diagonally across from me, inside a convenience store, someone was waving frantically at me. That was. The store's rolling shutter was already more than halfway down, leaving a gap less than a foot and a half high. A freckled girl was staring behind me in sheer terror. I looked back. I didn't know when the delivery guy had managed to catch up to the alley entrance, and right behind him, a massive wave of dark shadows was swarming around the street corner. I burst into the fastest sprint of my life and dove inside just before the rolling shutter slammed shut completely. The sounds of violent thumping immediately echoed from outside, accompanied by the screeching noise of fingernails scratching the metal. I lay on the cold tiled floor, gasping for air, my lungs burning like fire. You're Luke. The freckled girl held a self-defense stun gun, looking at me with trembling fear. I recognized her. She was Chloe. the prettiest girl from the parallel class at school. What on earth is happening out there? I stood up and looked around the convenience store. There was plenty of food and water here. It was safe for the time being. But instead of answering her crying pleas, I walked toward the security monitor at the back of the store. The screen was showing the view of the back door. Right outside the convenience store's back freezer door stood a person wearing a white lab coat. He was wearing a mask, calmly observing the zombies roaming the streets. He raised his right hand, which was holding a syringe, gently pulled down his mask, and silently mouthed some words. "I read his lips," he said. "Good luck out there." Right after that, the bright lights in the convenience store went out instantly, and along with them, the security monitor turned into a dead, pitch-black screen. Holy shit! In this enclosed space, the moment I lost my vision, the screams from the street outside were magnified 100 times. Chloe let out a sharp, muffled shriek, and stumbled backward, knocking over a row of shelves. "Shut up," I hissed in a low voice. I lunged toward the source of the nose, and firmly covered her mouth. I could feel her entire body shaking violently, her icy terror smeared all over my hand. "Listen to me, Chloe. Those things out there are extremely sensitive to sound. If you scream one more time, I will throw you out. Take a deep breath, not if you understand." Good. I let go of my hand, and gripped the stolen meat cleaver tightly. The non-slip texture on the handle dug into my palm, giving me a pathetic sliver of security. "The back door. We have to go check it. The rolling shutter at the front door won't hold for long. If the back door isn't locked tight, we're sitting ducks." We hunched down, using the dim light from my phone screen set to its lowest brightness, and made our way through the rows of shelves, groping toward the storage room deep inside the store. Reaching the end, there was a hallway leading to the warehouse and cold storage. At the very end of the hallway was the back door. By the faint glow, I saw the metal door of the warehouse left slightly ajar. "Stay close to me, and don't make a sound." The light from my phone swept across the messy cardboard boxes, finally fixing on a dark silhouette in the corner. It was the store manager, a fat guy who was usually always smiling, but right now, he was crouching on the ground with his back to us, and was frantically devouring something. Seeming to notice the light, his chewing stopped abruptly. He turned his head stiffly, and lunged into an aggressive stance. "Watch out." I shoved Chloe aside, and rolled over to the other side myself. The manager's massive body slammed heavily into the stacks of bottled water behind me. Water bottles scattered everywhere. He roared and turned around, opening his bloody mouth to lunging at me again. This explosive power was too fast. Definitely not something a middle-aged fat guy should have. I didn't even have time to stand up, so I instinctively raised the baseball bat horizontally across my chest. He slammed hard against the bat, the immense impact pinning me completely to the floor. Both of my arms were pinned tight. His strength was terrifying. "Chloe, shock him." Chloe snapped out of her sheer terror. She screamed and rushed over, slamming the stun gun in her hand, hard against the back of the manager's neck. If he were a normal person, this hit would be enough to knock him out. But the brainless manager felt absolutely no pain. He violently threw Chloe off, and with a backhand slap, sent her and the stun gun flying through the air. But that fraction of a second twitch gave me my chance. I yanked my right hand out from underneath me and drew the meat cleaver tucked into my lower back. Without a single hesitation, right at that moment, my brain had only one primitive command: stay alive. I used all my strength to aim at his vulnerable neck exposed as his head tilted up. I pushed the heavy body off me with force, gasping heavily for air. My face was covered in sticky fluid, giving off a sickening, foul stench. "Luke." Chloe crawled up, clutching her swollen cheek, looking at the monster on the ground. She was too terrified to even make a sound to cry. "Go lock the back door. Hurry." Chloe stumbled down the hallway, reached the back door at the end, and pulled down the heavy metal bolt. Only when I confirmed the back door was locked tight did I feel my tense nerves relax just a little bit. I took my phone and shined it on where the manager was standing just now. A body in a courier uniform lay there, fallen to the ground, already badly mutilated, and right next to this person sat a silver medical cooler. Obviously, this didn't belong to the convenience store. The cooler wasn't locked. Leaving it half open, I walked over and pried the lid open with the tip of my knife. Inside, there was only a black military walkie-talkie. "Warning, the perimeter at the downtown hospital is about to clear out. In 3 hours, a full physical lockdown of the entire hospital will begin. Luke, the outside is completely locked down. We can't get out, right? You can stay. The water and instant noodles here are enough to keep you alive for more than 2 weeks. But the rolling shutter won't hold for long. If those attackers break in, you'll just be waiting to die. I'm not begging you to come with me, and I'm no Superman either. But I'm going downtown right now. If you want to live, dry your tears, and prove you're not a liability that's going to get me killed." The downtown hospital is about 3 miles away from here. Usually, it only takes 15 minutes by bus. But now, "I'm coming with you," Good. Wipe away your tears. Come help me up front. We need to do some DIY work. Though this convenience store isn't big, right now, it has become our only armory. Normal clothes are like wet paper in front of those attackers. We must arm ourselves. Go look for thick magazines. The thicker, the better. And heavy-duty tape. The more, the better. Move fast. Under extreme terror. As long as someone gives clear instructions, people can actually burst into action. The girl quickly brought over a thick stack of magazines and 5 or 6 rolls of wide 10 packing tape. I ripped the tape open, folded to thick glossy magazines in half, wrapped them tightly around Chloe's forearms, and then bound them securely, layer after layer, with the wide tape. What is this for? Bite-proof armor. Human bite force. Can't pierce through glossy paper and tape this thick. The limbs are the easiest targets to get attacked. We'll wrap our shins next. Following the same method, in less than 10 minutes, the forearms and shins of both of us were strapped with this improvised armor. Although walking felt a bit stiff, this fraction of an inch thickness could mean the narrow margin between life and death. Next up, weapons. Even though the meat cleaver in my hand is sharp, it's way too short. The close quarters combat just now still has me shaken. I need a way to keep a safe distance. As the saying goes, an inch longer, an inch stronger. I rushed over to the cleaning supplies aisle and grabbed a mop. It had a very high-quality metal pole. Chloe, hold this down for me. I pulled out a roll of the widest heavy-duty black electrical tape and tightly bound the knife handle and the metal pole together to prevent the blade from flying off when chopping. I ran to the hardware shelf to find some zip ties and fastened 7 or 8 more loops over the tape. I weighed it in my hand. This freshly made lawn-handled glaive was slightly front-heavy, but its 5-foot length was more than enough to chop through those guys' necks. As for Chloe, her physical strength is too weak. Giving her a bladed weapon would probably end up hurting her instead. My eyes swept across the fire equipment box in the corner, and I pulled out a red dry chemical fire extinguisher, thrusting it into her arms. The extinguisher was heavy. She stumbled back a bit when catching it. Hold on to it. If you face danger, pull out the safety pin, aim at their faces, and spray. I stared straight into her eyes, tassing on the laws of survival. The dry chemical can instantly blind those things and destroy their sense of smell, buying us time to run. And take this too. If the extinguisher runs out, use this. Don't light it unless it's an absolute last resort. It's too easy to burn yourself. The panicked look in her eyes lessened a bit, replaced by a forced instinct to survive. 2 hours and 20 minutes left. Pack your bag. Only take high-calorie food and water. Don't overfill it. If it's too heavy, you can't run fast. Like 2 greedy hamsters, we quickly raided the shelves. I grabbed a handful of Band-Aids, gauze, and rubbing alcohol, stuffing them into the side pockets. Ow. The bottom panel of the front rolling shutter had been bashed into a dented cave-in. Several blood-soaked hands reached in through the gap. They smelled the scent of the living. Their numbers were growing. There were at least dozens of them outside. Our only way out is the back door. Since that guy in the lab coat could leave through the back alley, it means there's a path forward. Remember what I'm about to say. This is about whether we can survive the next 5 minutes. First, once we go out, never scream. Even if your leg gets grabbed, swallow it down. Second, if we get surrounded, I'll do my best to clear a path ahead. Stay close to me, and use the extinguisher to cover our flanks. If I go down, don't worry about me. Spray a path out, and run to the hospital on your own. Third, do not feel any sympathy for them. They are not your neighbors, nor your teachers. The outside heat wave and a strong, foul stench hit us right in the face. There was indeed no horde of zombies in the back alley, but the situation was far worse than imagined. A police cruiser had crashed into the wall, completely blocking the already narrow path. The engine hadn't cooled down yet. The crash must have happened not long ago. On the hood, several figures were frantically tearing at a mutilated body. Chloe, stay close to me. Don't be afraid. I let out a loud roar, gripping the long metal pole with both hands, and aiming the blade right at his vital spot. Taking advantage of his forward momentum, I thrust it forward with all my might. Now's the time. Chloe violently pulled the safety pin out of the extinguisher and slammed the lever down. High-pressure gas mixed with dry chemicals sprayed out, completely engulfing the narrow alleyway. The zombies, despite feeling no pain, had their nasal passages and airways instantly blocked by the powder. I took the chance to kick him off, pulling the blade out from the joint. The target slammed heavily onto the ground, twitched twice, and stopped moving. I grabbed Chloe and moved toward that police car under the cover of the powder. As long as we get through this gap, we can reach the main road. Covering our noses and mouths, we made our way through the white mist. Just as we were about to squeeze through, the car door suddenly made a faint clicking sound. The door was pushed open a crack from the inside, and a pair of bloodshot eyes stared out at us. Those were the eyes of a living human. A surge of relief hit my chest. A burly man with a fierce, scarred face leaned out, clutching a heavy wrench in his hand. Behind him, a tall, thin man was crouching. They looked down at us, sizing us up. Not a bad move there, little brother. I instantly went on high alert, instinctively holding my weapon across my chest to shield Chloe. Make way. We need to pass through. It's crawling with those biting maniacs out there. Meeting like this is fate. We're so hungry our stomachs are sticking to our ribs. Why don't you toss those bags up here? I'll pull you guys into the cabin to take cover. No need. We're in a hurry. Without a second of hesitation, I grabbed Chloe, intending to push right past them. Handing supplies over to strangers was no different from suicide. Ha ha ha. Hot. Choosing the hard way, are we? Right then, the white mist cleared, and the zombies caught our scent again. Not only that, but heavy, chaotic noises were echoing from the main road too. The commotion we made had drawn every threat in the vicinity right to us. The burly man's face dropped. He realized this spot was about to become a death trap. He glanced at the approaching zombies, then looked back at us, his gaze turning incredibly malicious. Kid, run now. He leapt down, aiming straight in our direction. What are you doing? Ha ha ha. Sorry, sweetheart. The bastard actually tried to feed Chloe to those monsters. Instead of going after him, I lunged like a cheetah toward Chloe, who was falling through the air. My back slammed against the bricks, the pain causing my vision to go momentarily black. A zombie in a suit had already lunged right in front of us, snapping straight for Chloe's neck. Chloe closed her eyes in utter despair. Get off. I didn't want to cause any harm, but that bastard tried to feed us to the dogs. Chloe, give me the extinguisher. I didn't look back to see his fate. I just pulled Chloe up onto the roof of the car, scrambling over the obstacle using both hands and feet, and jumped down from the other side. We landed firmly on the edge of the main road. This is the law of the apocalypse. Those who harm others will eventually destroy themselves. Your arm. She stared at the deep gash bitten into my left arm, tears streaming down her face. If I hadn't thrown myself over her, that bite would have crushed her throat. I'm not going to die. It didn't get through the armor. Stop crying. Save your energy. The clash just now hadn't just drained our physical strength. It had wasted precious time too. Abandoned vehicles completely blocked the path ahead. Right on our mandatory route, 2 armored personnel carriers were parked. Sandbags piled up to form a defensive line. Behind that line was a black tide of zombies, roaming around aimlessly. Luke, we can't make it through. We have to. Even if we can't. That was easy to say. But if we tried to hack our way through, even with infinite stamina, and cutting flesh with every single strike, the blade would eventually dull. Our ultimate fate would be getting completely swallowed up by this massive monsters. I can't die here. Luke, look over there. That was a sewer manhole cover. A crazy but viable plan quickly took shape in my mind. Chloe, take out your phone. But there's no signal right now. No signal doesn't mean no sound. We're going to play some blasting dance music. For the folks out there, we snuck into an electronics store. Inside, there were a few zombie employees, wearing blue uniforms, but they were all trapped under collapsed shelves. I walked over without a hint of hesitation, my movements quick and decisive, making sure they couldn't make a single sound. After that, I rummaged through the messy display counters. Luck was on my side. Found it. This was a subwoofer, powerful enough to rattle the entire street. The battery was still at 80%. More than enough. I quickly turned on the speaker and paired it with Chloe's phone via Bluetooth. What are you trying to do? Create a distraction. Once the alarm goes off, this place will be the center of attention for the whole street. Listen to the plan. I'll throw the speaker into the trunk of that car and shut the door. 3 minutes later, every zombie on this street will be drawn over here. As for us, we must use these 3 minutes to get down and into the underground pipe network. What if those things are down there too? Staying up here means certain death. Down there, we might at least have a 50-50 chance. Hold this. In a moment, I'll use the knife handle as a lever to pry the manhole cover. You'll be in charge of pressing it down. The countdown begins. Faster, a bit faster. Using the abandoned cars as cover, I successfully snuck up to that black SUV. I shoved the Bluetooth speaker deep into the trunk and slammed it shut. The sound alerted the zombies. Their gazes locked onto this spot. Luke, hurry. I dashed over and grabbed the long glaive. This manhole cover was heavier than I thought. To make matters worse, the edges were jammed with years of dirt and rust. There's no time left. Prying it with raw force wasn't working at all. A few nearby zombies had already spotted us. Right at this critical, hair-raising moment, the timer hit 0. The high-power subwoofer blasted to life. The zombie right in front of me froze. Completely ignoring us, he bolted like crazy, straight toward the SUV. The plan worked. Get down. Quick. Chloe followed the rusty ladder down into the darkness. I followed right behind her. Before climbing down, I grabbed the manhole cover from below, using the last ounce of my strength to pull it back into place. The sewer was pitch black, so dark you couldn't even see your own hand, but it was much more spacious than I had imagined. We actually survived. Don't celebrate too soon. Following this main pipe, it should lead straight to the hospital's underground morgue, or the utility room. Luke, don't panic. Find the right moment, spray him, and run back. There was no time to think it over. Relying on my intuition for the hospital's general direction, I ran ahead, pulling Chloe along. I don't know how long we ran, but we eventually reached the end of an incline. Ahead was a rusty iron grate door. Behind the door, the white tiles and the smell of disinfectant. In the air came rushing at us. The water level has explained everything. Let's go. Freeze. Who are you looking for? We're looking for the head nurse, Mrs. Liu. Upon hearing her name, the previously dead silent lobby stirred with a strange commotion. You're looking for head nurse Liu. Is she here? She's not here. This afternoon, the South Suburb Defensive Line sent a final extraction squad. Due to the limited weight capacity of the vehicles, the list was made based on contributions. Nurse Liu was originally on a primary list, but she gave up her spot to an injured pregnant woman. She went with a volunteer convoy to the South Side warehouse to secure urgently needed antibiotics. She went to the South Side. What about the convoy? They haven't come back. 2 hours ago. A massive fire lit up the sky over on the South Side. The last signal over the radio said they were trapped inside the warehouse. A massive horde of monsters surrounded the place. The convoy has most likely been wiped out. Luke, I'm going to the South Side too. Forget about it, kid. The South Side is a total meat grinder right now. Nobody's gonna stop you if you want to go commit suicide, but leave the food in your bag before you go. We have to stick together here. All resources must be centrally distributed. Several frail elderly people and children were staring at the bread in a burly man's hand, drooling. This so-called central distribution never actually reached the hands of the weak. And if I refuse, then you won't be walking out that door. In a lawless vacuum, survival of the fittest becomes the only law. There are hundreds, thousands of monsters outside that door. None of you had the guts to go out there and fight. Yet you stay inside just to steal food from kids. The things in this bag are what I risked my life to bring back from the supermarket. You want to take them? Sure. Let's see if your skin is tougher than my blade is sharp. We crossed the hospital corridors, preparing to leave through the side door. That's my mom's coat. Hey, miss, Auntie Lu said if I stay right here and behave, she will definitely bring the medicine back. Was she lying to me? She didn't lie to you. See this badge. It will always point toward hope. If Auntie Lu accidentally gets lost on her way back, this is her token of promise to you. I told a lie that might never be fulfilled. In this despairing world, sometimes, a lie is the only thing that can keep a child alive. Let's go. We stepped back out onto the streets. The road leading to the South Side warehouse was over for miles long. There were even more monsters on the street than before. They seemed to become much sharper in the dead of night. Luke, back there, you didn't actually have to care about that bull. Saving someone isn't about getting a reward. I just don't want to become like that thieving bastard. Like two nimble black cats, we slipped through the shadows. As we passed an intersection, I spotted a rolled over van. A Red Cross logo was painted on the side. I rushed over, not to save anyone, but to confirm something. Save me. Please, I beg you.
救不了。
We can't save them.
那一层起码有
There are at least dozens of those things over there. There are only 2 of us. Rushing in means certain death. But Chloe, listen to me. Kindness isn't stupidity.
我有我要保护。
I have people I need to
这
protect.
世界上
In this world, you can only save those who can save
或
themselves,
者你有能
or
力
those
救
you actually have the power to save. Our current capacity is just enough to make it through these for miles.
巨大的物流仓库
The massive logistics warehouse was burning with a roaring fire, the flames turning half the sky crimson.
仓库的2楼
On the rooftop of the warehouse's second floor, a few silhouettes were desperately firing down at the horde of monsters.
我凑近一闻
I leaned in close to catch a
刺
scent.
鼻的味道。
The pungent smell jolted my senses. It was industrial grade ethanol.
光有火还不够，
Just fire won't be
丧尸
enough.
太多了。
There are too many zombies.
有了，
I've got it.
高浓度
High
的
concentrations of airborne dust, when exposed to an open flame in an enclosed space, will cause a violent explosion. As we ran, we hurled glass bottles filled with ethanol at the horde of corpses packed around the warehouse entrance.
趁着他们被火焰
Using the
干扰
few
的惊
seconds
讶
of
中
confusion
控制
caused by the
我拽了
flames,
苏晴
I yanked
从
Chloe
一
along
烧得
and
变形的
squeezed our
透
way
明
through the
缝
crack
隙
of the heat-warped side door. Mom, where are you? Luke. Up on the second floor. Get up to the second floor. Quick. Mom, why were you so foolish? You shouldn't have come here. Cut the chatter. The ground floor is about to collapse.
我们要从2楼窗口
We
跳
need to jump from the second floor window.
太高了。
It's too high, and the ground below is crawling with those things. I'm going to prepare a little parting gift for them. Move. Don't stop. 5:40 a.m., South Suburb. The 13-foot-high steel-reinforced perimeter, all of the defensive line, finally appeared at the end of our horizon.
下方
Beneath the wall,
密密麻麻的挤满了
refugees
从城市
fleeing from
各处
all corners
逃难
of the
而来的
city
幸
were
福
packed
者
together in a massive crowd. All personnel, please remain calm and submit to quarantine inspection. Any attempt to force through the defensive line will be treated as an infection threat, and you will be shot dead immediately. Luke, there are doctors over there.
站住！
Halt, maintain a 10-foot
我
distance.
妈市中心
My
医院的
mom
护
is
士
the head nurse from the downtown hospital.
带出
She
了
brought out the
仓库
inventory
的药
logs for the warehouse
农药和实验
pharmaceuticals
数据
and the experimental data. We need to get inside.
每个人都要脱衣
Everyone must strip down for inspection. Anyone with a wound on their body will be quarantined on the spot.
怕是被指甲划破
Even a
一点
tiny scratch from a fingernail will not be cleared.
它这是玻璃划
His is a glass scratch, not a bite
规则
mark.
就是规则
Rules are
在
rules.
病毒
During the
潜伏期
virus's
内
incubation
没人
period,
能分清划
nobody
伤
can
和
tell
咬
the
伤的
difference
区别
between a scratch and a bite.
从
Send her to the Sector C quarantine facility.
滚过去！
Get moving. Don't block the way. The uninjured go in first. The wounded can wait to die. That's just life.
他竟然也
That
活
scarred
下来
bastard actually managed to survive too. What's more, he now had a few more accomplices holding iron rods by his side. Well, look who it is. Little brother, see? This defensive lie doesn't care about your morals. Around here, the biggest fist makes the rules. Dump your mom in the quarantine zone. Bring this girl. And roll with me. I know people here who can get us cleared early.
我没有理会
I
光头
completely
男的
ignored the
挑衅
bald man's
而是看向那
provocation
个岗
and
哨
looked
里的
straight
医
at the
生
doctor inside the guard post. Hey, you brat, how dare you ignore
数
me?
据
To
这是
data
我妈
this is
拼
what
命
my
干
mom
出来
risked her life to
关于
bring
那
out.
批药
It contains the
存
exact
放
storage
过量
coordinates for those
如果没有
pharmaceuticals
这份
without this
清单
inventory
你们
sheet.
就算开坦克
Even if you
进
roll
去
in there
也
with
只能
tanks,
找到
you'll
一
find
堆
nothing
废
but a
纸
pile of useless scrap paper.
你想谈条
Are you
件
trying to negotiate
不是谈
terms?
条件
I'm not negotiating
是要求
terms.
公正
I'm demanding
我妈可以
fairness.
接受革
My
命
mom will submit to
但必须
quarantine,
具备基
but
本
it
医疗
must be
条
an
件的独
isolated
立
unit,
隔离室
equipped with basic medical facilities.
她需
Furthermore,
要立刻驻守
she
不
needs
到达的
immediate
破伤
glucose
针
and tetanus
否则她
shots,
撑不过
otherwise she
24
won't last the next 24 hours.
我去你的公
To hell with your fairness.
在这儿
My
我的
life
命不
might not
值
be
钱
worth much around
但
here,
我杀过丧尸
but I've killed
杀过
zombies,
像你这样的
and I've killed men like
想
you.
拿我当
If
踏
you
脚
want to
石
use me as a stepping stone,
你得先看看自己
you'd better
是
see
够
if your
不够
neck
硬
is tough enough first.
滚吧
Back off.
让他进来
Let them in.
我是这里的防线
I am the
指挥官
commander of this defensive line.
小子
Kid,
很有种
you've got
但
guts.
规则不
But the
能破
rules cannot
你
be
妈
broken.
必须
Your
进
mom
隔
must
离
go
室
into the isolation
不过
unit.
我可以
However,
答应你们的
I
要
can
求
agree to your
但
terms
最好
and provide her with the
一定要
best medical
照
care
顾你们
available.
两个
As for the two of
由于
you,
没有
since
伤
you have no
可以
wounds,
直
you
接
can go
进入
straight
内
into
部
the
的
inner
客栈
city
那里
transit
有热
station.
水
There's
干
hot
衣
water,
服
dry
和热
clothes,
粥
and hot porridge waiting there. Go on, Luke.
照顾好苏晴
Take good care of
把她照顾
Chloe.
安全
Mom is very safe here. The interior of the south suburb defensive line was not the sanctuary I had anticipated. This place used to be an unfinished sports center. The inside was divided into 3 sectors. The core sector was occupied by evacuated officials, specialists, and their families. The buffer sector housed able-bodied laborers with technical skills or physical strength. As for us, the latest arrivals, the civilians with no background or connections, we were pushed into the mud sector. The mud sector lived entirely up to its name. Tens of thousands of survivors were crammed together under open-air plastic tents. Get your porridge, get your porridge. You call this porridge? Be grateful, newbie. If you want solid food, trade something for it. Or join Boss Vance's Civil Defense Squad. Returning to our tent, which was actually just a low, cramped shelter, cobbled together from 2 pieces of tarpaulin. Besides Chloe, there were a few other students who had escaped from the hospital. Luke, you're back. Just now someone came by earlier. They said every tent has to hand over half of its food rations as a protection fee. Who said that? I did. Kid, you've got no status around here. Out here, Boss Vance makes the rules. You crossed me, so you'll pay with your life. But as for these girls... Just you try it. Oh, I'll try it. All right. Smash the place. Trash it. Take all their food. And grab the girls too. The tent was too narrow, making it impossible to swing my glaive. But I didn't just have a blade. Ethan, protect the girls. Although the bald guy had numbers on his side, this bunch of ragtag thugs didn't have the raw ruthlessness of someone who had crawled out of a pile of corpses. Ow. Halt. Instigators of brawls will have 3 days of rations deducted. Consider yourself lucky, kid, Boss Van said. He'll see how you survive the clearance operation tonight. Luke, we can't hide from them. They have men, and they have turf, to them. We students are just lambs waiting to be slaughtered. In front of the zombies, we are survivors. But in front of our own kind, are we supposed to turn into sacrificial offerings? Ethan, Chloe, listen to me. We can't rely on those soldiers who can barely protect themselves. And we sure as hell can't rely on the conscience of these thugs. If we don't want to get robbed, the only way out is to band together ourselves. 1 person gets robbed. What about 10 people? What about 100? Starting today, we are forming the Student Mutual Aid Society. I am not going to be your boss, but we need to establish 3 basic rules. Rations are shared equally. We take turns on night watch. And if one of us gets bullied, we all fight back together. Luke, I'm in. Me too. I don't want to be a burden anymore. What I'm looking for isn't just food, but justice. I knew the reason Boss Vance could run this place like a tyrant was because he was colluding with certain figures in the inner city who controlled the supply distribution. They skimmed off the refugees' rations and sold them back at exorbitant prices. This wasn't just a crime. It was outright murder. Luke, what do you plan to do? With just the few of us, we can't break into the core sector. We don't need to break in. They are greedy, and that is their biggest weakness. We need leverage. I thought of my mom. She was in the quarantine facility. If I could get my hands on that more detailed medical warehouse inventory sheet, I would be able to speak directly to the highest commander here. Are you Luke? I know where the person you're looking for is. I know where the person you're looking for is. But I need you to help me kill someone who... The deputy director of the core sector. He killed my sister just to free up a hospital bed for his mistress. Murder won't solve the problem. At least, not right now. Then what do you suggest we do? Just watch them live in luxury while our people die of diseases like animals. We're going to strike at his roots. Starting tomorrow, the aid society will know. Longer just be scraping by for watery porridge. Ethan, take a few of the sharper guys and work at the waste disposal site. Take charge of the household trash holdout from the core sector. Chloe, take the girls to help wash clothes for the core sector families, do mending, or get temporary cleaning jobs with the logistics team. Why do we want these jobs? That's just serving people. Serving them is how we keep tabs on them. Trash can tell us what they're eating and what they're lacking. Washing clothes will let us know who got hurt and who is secretly hoarding scarce medicine. We need to become the invisible Isa inside this inner city, where Deputy Director Reynolds is holding his meetings when the defensive line supplies arrive at the warehouse. All this information, we want it all. In 3 days, the number of people in the aid society quickly expanded from 5 to 50. In the mud sector, as long as you have a sip of clean water to share with others, you can gain allies. I established an incredibly crude, yet highly efficient, intelligence exchange network. Luke, this was salvaged from the paper shredder bin in the core sector's administration building. Even though it was badly shredded, Chloe and the others were meticulous. They pieced together a few critical points. The document shows that, last night, 3 tons of canned food and 20,000 doses of antibiotics arrived at the warehouse. But this morning, the black market price Vance's men are shouting has gone up a full 10 times. What's more, today, in the pocket of Deputy Director Reynolds' mistress, I discovered a private promissory note. Reynolds actually used the government's medical supplies as collateral for black market traders, in exchange for gold and luxury watches. So the flesh and blood of this wasteland is what fills their wine glasses, hey. The evidence is sufficient. Vance is taking his men to the warehouse to pick up the goods tonight. He will take 1/3 of the antibiotics to sell to private survivor camps outside. Are we going to hijack it? No. We're going to deliver it. We'll leak the news to his ambitious assistant, and at the same time, mobilize all the refugees. Look, everyone. What is this? 3 tons of canned food. 20,000 doses of antibiotics. That's our life-saving medicine. Yet, it was sold by them for gold. Ow. What crap are you spewing? You want to die. He's not spewing crap. Look at the mud under your feet. Then look at the meat in their mouths. Brothers of the patrol squad, have your military rations been cut in half too? Are your families crammed into the quarantine zone as well? This is the explanation Deputy Director Reynolds gives you. Don't charge at the defensive line. Don't fight the soldiers. We want to speak with the commander. We want the truth. Let us in. Let us in. Luke, look. Deputy Director Reynolds will be investigated. And Vance's men will be liquidated. But this is only the first step. We need to help the aid society. Secure legal labor and management rights. It's you. "3 days ago, you entered the gates with a single inventory sheet. Today, you used dozens of shredded pieces of paper. Commander, I just want a fair deal. A fair deal. Kid, you've completely overturned my backyard and almost blew the roof off my station. Colonel, this isn't a riot. It's an appeal. Every day, the number of people passing away in the mud sector due to a lack of medicine reaches double digits. Meanwhile, the numbers on this document are enough to keep them alive for months. Take him away and prosecute him under military law. What about Vance's men? The Civil Defense Squad is disbanded immediately. All core members are to be detained for trial. Now that the crowd has dispersed, Luke, follow me inside. Deputy Director Reynolds was dismissed. And Vance's network was completely uprooted. You won, Luke. But you've left me with a total mess. A management vacuum has opened up in the mud sector. If I deploy troops to take over directly, it will only escalate the hostility. That's why we need to be legalized. The Student Mutual Aid Society needs an official status. We need to handle supply distribution, monitoring, and basic maintenance of order in the mud sector. In return, we can provide the most accurate population data and labor scheduling. You're only in your early 20s. Luke, do you really think I can hand the life and death of thousands of people over to a young man? Everything I learned over all my years in school amounts to less than 1/10,000th of what I've learned these past few days. Colonel, you're short on manpower, and I have credibility. This is the best deal possible. After a half-hour negotiation, we reached a temporary wartime mutual aid agreement. The Aid Society received official red armbands and extra food rations. More importantly, we obtained access passes to move freely inside the core sector. Luke, don't stick your neck out too much. Yet, don't worry. Luke, something bad happened. What's wrong? Remember old Mr. Miller from the mud sector? The old man who kept coughing and had his rations stolen by Vance. Didn't he just receive the solid porridge distributed by the Aid Society yesterday? He's gone. He didn't die of illness. He vanished. Just this evening, a group of people not wearing camouflage uniforms entered the sector, claiming it was a pandemic screening. They took him straight away. I checked with my buddies at the logistics transit station. His name isn't on the quarantine list at all. Mr. Miller only had a common cold and a cough. Why would they? It's not just Mr. Miller. Today, while I was washing clothes in the core sector's administration building, I heard people in the buffer sector are also coming down with mysterious fevers. But the strange thing is, the military hasn't issued a large-scale infection alert. I have a bad feeling about this. Let's go check out the side gate of the core sector. Look, those are lab coats. Look, it's Mr. Miller. Luke, look at what's in their hands. Are they saving people? Or... Ow? Ethan, stay calm. Head back to the tent first. We need to figure out a strategy. Tomorrow night, I'm going to slip into the quarantine zone. We need to let Colonel Vance know. What kind of virus has infested his turf? Luke, we only have 20 minutes. Mr. Miller. This is... Your mom is a miracle. Luke, this kind of genetic material shouldn't be wasted in a foul, stinking gutter like the mud sector. Luke, in the face of the future of all humanity, you and your aid society are as cheap as dirt. Spit on you. I don't have time to listen to your dog barking. Good, good, very good. Guard. Ethan, cut the power. What's going on? Luke. Colonel Vance indeed can't protect everyone. Those lab coats are experimenting on people. My mom is next. If Colonel Vance doesn't plan to do anything about it, then we'll do it for him. I'm going to mobilize all 10,000 people in the mud sector. Luke, tell us how we're gonna do this. No rioting, no looting, and no clashing with the soldiers. We are going to make sure every single person inside this defensive line sees these images. We are going to force the colonel's hand. He'll have to choose between the future of humanity and human decency. Take a look at this. This is Mr. Miller. This is Mrs. Davis, who went missing the day before yesterday. They didn't die of illness. They were locked in the basement to be turned into specimens. Luke, you are pushing my limits. Colonel, your limits have already been trampled underfoot by these people. On this device, it records the entire process of them turning refugees into specimens, right under your nose. Colonel, my mom, head nurse Lou, is currently locked in the quarantine zone waiting to be harvested. They say this is for the evolution of mankind. What an absurd and cruel excuse. Colonel, you're regular military. Are you going to protect every single life inside this defensive line, or these executioners who treat human lives as mere experimental data? Colonel, don't forget about the medicine. Only we can maintain the immune balance of this entire defensive line. Luke, hand the evidence over to me. I will handle it. No, I want you to shut down all their equipment right now. And release everyone who has been detained. No backing down. No backing down. No one here is taking half a step back today. Hey, don't forget the viral balance of this defensive line. Without our technology, the 10,000 people here won't last 3 days before turning into the monsters outside. That head nurse is the perfect source of antibodies. You can't shut up. All soldiers, listen to my command. I am Colonel Vance, commander of the South Suburb Defensive Line. I swore an oath to protect civilians, not to condone slaughter. Military police of the administration building, immediately secure everyone at the scene. Pharmaceutical and field personnel included. I would rather take these 10,000 people and die of infection than let them die under the scalpels of their own kind. You're crazy. You've destroyed the hope of all humanity. No. I've simply held on to the baseline of human decency. Luke, take your aid society and follow me to the quarantine facility, HMPH. Luke. Luke. The road ahead will only get harder. These people are just one branch. Behind them lies an even more massive system. Since you chose the path of righteousness, you must be prepared to face much harsher challenges. As long as people can still live like human beings, no matter how harsh the road is, I will keep moving forward. The pharmacy should be around here. Gravity. The most perfect vessel. Stage 12 sonar mutation frequency.
最完美的容器。
He actually. Develop consciousness. DOS never used 51BCE0C785, CA2FER081 BFA7D91973993 for user. I'll kill you. Tant tant. Pant pant pant. Tant tant. Pant pant pant. You're the one who saved me. My name is Silence, and a rank ability user. What about you? Luke. Do you want to join us? This. Right now, welcome to the new theater. Then Dutch Don DS underscore 1186, MT Don Dine greater than. Ben Dutch Don DS underscore 1187, NT Dong Dine greater than.